Hello everyone, my name is Tim Roosh, and I am a graduate student at Montana State University in the Health and Human Development Department, and I am studying sustainable food systems.
And my name is Alex Crosby. I'm a marketing and finance major with a minor in entrepreneurship from Montana State. And we are Babylon Produce.
Now, before we get started, a quick show of hands here, and you can be honest. How many of you guys enjoy tomatoes? Oh, this is going to be, oh, great. This is awesome. Well, I have something to show you really quick. So here we have, I'm sorry you can't really see it, and there's not a camera that can do a sweet pan down angle, and this is not the Food Network. What we have here is a basic caprese salad. We have a little bit of sliced mozzarella, and the local store did not have fresh basil, so we substituted spinach because it looks relatively close from a distance. And as for a balsamic reduction, I didn't have time to do that, so we went with a Paul Newman balsamic vinaigrette, but you guys get the idea. But can anyone tell me what is missing on this plate? There we go, tomatoes. Now this is actually a travesty if I'm getting ready to eat this in the summer. So, which brings us to the problem, how can we address this on a local level? Now, commercial agriculture, not only in Montana, but throughout the world, has a series of challenges. We use a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and artificial fertilizers that cause agricultural runoff and also contaminate water supply, which makes potable water very precious in a lot of farming communities. Also, due to generations of soil mismanagement in a lot of areas, we have increased tillage, soil erosion, and desertification, making arable land or farming land difficult to come by and often very expensive. In developing countries, this is an incredibly crucial area. Managing your pests. Now, has anyone tried to grow tomatoes in their backyard or anything? How many of you guys deal with pests? Yeah, it's a challenge. Most of the time, you know, those deer, they'll get them, or any sort of bug that you can't seem to identify. You always have to take into account what the pests will be doing to your crop as well. And also, there is a growing population in Montana as well. Gallatin County alone is supposed to have 100,000 residents by 2020. This is a difference of 15 years, and this is Shanghai. So you can see there's going to be competition for farmland and also urbanization. So we're going to to start figuring out how can we farm smarter and have greater yields per acre. So we at Babylon Produce, we're a Montana-based company, and we provide high-quality heirloom tomatoes that are locally grown and offer consistent year-round production due to our ability to control the environment. So our tomatoes will be GMO-free, grown without the use of pesticides and herbicides, and focus on being a social and environmental producer that not only takes into account our triple bottom line of profit, but also the environment and our community in which we live in. Now, how many of you guys really enjoy the BLT? Yeah? A nice, thick, whole wheat, lightly toasted, maybe a little aioli on there, some nice crisp romaine lettuce, and that really thick pepper bacon. And it also goes on the BLT. The tomato, exactly. Now, in the wintertime, that thick skin, mushy interior, it is not the best addition to your BLT. However, what if you had the opportunity to have a crisp, nutritionally complete, great-tasting heirloom tomato to complete that sandwich that you've been making for lunch, and will make everyone else jealous? We at Babylon Produce have the ability to create that and offer that on a consistent, year-round basis. This is an example of a nursery in Southern California. This is Howelling Nursery. This is a $150 million growing operation. However, this facility has the ability to reduce and reuse the water and nutrients that are applied to the crop, reducing their operating costs and utilizing less water and less resources. So as we know in Montana, water is an incredibly scarce resource for growing. We have the opportunity to create that here in Montana and grow heirloom tomatoes on a commercial scale like this, so we can meet the local demand on a year-round basis. For our initial market size, we're looking at 4 states, and according to IBIS World, it's a $180 million market that's growing at 4% annually. So by 2017, there are $220 million available for the fresh tomato produce section, and we're looking to take a piece of that. We'll have a simplified business model that's dedicated for rapid expansion to meet the demand as it continues to rise. Through pre-purchase sale agreements, all of our tomatoes will be sold before we even grow them. We have the ability to offer a higher price point because we are not only delivering a premium product, but also on a local level. We'll be able to satisfy the current market trends for products that are grown without the use of pesticides and herbicides because they're worried about future generations or their children. And also, people want to eat local. And I understand we are in Missoula, and I greatly empathize with that point. Local food, we support the local community. We have the opportunity to do that. Now, if you look at the actual production comparison for tomatoes, conventionally growing in a field, this is on a 1 acre annual average. That's about 5 to 10 tons. Now, depending on what type of hydroponic setup you're using, in this system, you have the ability to produce 60 to 300 tons per acre. That's an incredibly efficient system. And this is from Howard Resch's Hydroponic Food Production, 5th edition, if you guys would like to know. Now, if you look at our distribution system, this also offers us an advantage. We're able to actually distribute our produce on 1/10 of the time. When the tomatoes are vine ripened and hand-picked by, predominantly will be me for the first year, they will be packed and ready that morning. We will have the potential to use large-scale distributors or small distributors depending on who will be available. They'll pick up the tomatoes in the afternoon. Within 24 hours, they'll be available to the consumer. So they'll have this great tasting, nutritional profile, and it will taste the way a tomato is meant to be eaten. Conventionally, it's about 10 to 14 days for that tomato to get from field to table. How many of you guys have driven in California, and as you drive by, you see those trucks that carry, it looks like a bunch of green apples? They're not apples, they are tomatoes. They're picked before they're ripe. They are ripened with a gas called ethylene, which unnaturally ripens them before they're ready nutritionally and taste-wise. So that tomato that you're getting in the market 14 days later is not the tomato that I would like you to eat. So, I know for our core competencies, we're going to offer environmental control for year-round production. By doing this, we do not have to worry about genetic modification, pesticide and herbicide application. We're able to offer a consistent product for our producers and consumers. So that way there is not going to be a fear of wondering, can I have tomatoes this week? Will my distributor be mad if I don't have tomatoes? Will restaurants have the ability to offer that caprese salad year-round or your delicious BLT? So our competitors, who are they? We have our seasonal producers that do incredible work in the valleys, the CSA operations, the hot houses that are able to extend their season. They are just able to not produce on a commercial level yet. We also have our out-of-state producers from Mexico and Southern California. And we also have commercial greenhouse growers that grow hydroponically but offer hybrid varieties of tomatoes that are more bred for transportation and not taste as well. So if you can see here, Babylon Produce is between all of those. We are reliable because we are a greenhouse producer. We have the ability to eliminate the growing variables. We offer a higher quality because our heirloom tomatoes are bred not only just for their beautiful color, but for taste. It is a superior product than what is currently available on a mass scale at the market right now.
So this brings us to our marketing strategy. We will continue to identify potential clients through both networking and market research. This will be done through business-to-business personal selling with clients that have established distribution networks. In order to implement our sales strategy effectively and consistently, we'll utilize an automated CRM software such as Marketo. This will allow us to reduce the labor that's required to maintain these relationships while also allowing us to nurture the client at their own pace through our sales process. Our planned use of funds, we're currently seeking $107,000 in equity in order to go out and obtain the additional $323,000 that is required to acquire the land, construct the greenhouse, purchase the necessary materials and environmental control equipment, as well as operating capital that will keep us afloat while our first growth cycle is beginning. Now this brings us to our net income projections. This is based on a 95% pack-out rate. This is in contrast to the industry average of 98% for hydroponic greenhouse producers. Now you'll notice that it increases by 30% each year. That is, we will facilitate this increase in revenue each year by financing or leveraging our retained earnings in order to go out and obtain the additional capital required for each subsequent year's additional capacity. Now, these numbers are based on a 26% profit margin, which is the industry standard for hydroponic greenhouse producers. This is on the first year of $460,000 in revenue, climbing to $780,000 by year 3. Our market research indicates that through talking to producers in the market already, that there's an insatiable market demand that simply cannot be supplied at the moment. They can't grow it quick enough. Now, with every business, it's important to know how much product you have to sell in order to break even. We're fortunate that our fixed costs are relatively low, and we can operate at 41% capacity in order to stay afloat and cover our costs. Now, you'll notice the each subsequent year's capacity each month is before you. Now, to put this in context, Garden Fresh Tomatoes out of O'Neill, Nebraska produces 250,000 pounds of tomatoes. That's 1 million pounds a month, and they can't sell it. They can't produce it quick enough. So we're in a unique position where in the Pacific Northwest where we can capitalize on these market trends. And over the next 30 days, what we'll be doing is finalizing our business plan, dotting all the I's, crossing the T's, as well as continuing to network with potential clients to further our validity of our business concept. Over the next 6 months, we will identify a site that we will begin construction on, as well as secure the financial investment necessary to proceed. Within 1 year from today, we hope to have our first greenhouse constructed. It's important to note that in our business plan, that is when our financials begin. It's not today. And we will continue to expand our client base as rapidly as possible. Thank you. So we invite you guys to contact us with any questions or any interest you may have post-presentation. And we look forward to answering your questions. Thanks for sitting through it.